What is going on, guys? We are back again. Listen, we're having so much fun already, everybody. We're here talking Cirie Fields. You can hear her voice. It's Danielle DiLorenzo. We've been having so much fun before we even hit the record button. Danielle, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really great. Now that we're situated, I'm doing a lot better.
We're situated. That's what we can talk about is we're situated. And we're here to talk. It's the Survivor 50 files. We're talking Cirie Fields. She got up off the couch. Danielle was there in her first steps off of the couch, Cirie. And now our first ever five-time, or one of our first ever five-time woman who's ever played Survivor. So a lot to talk about here. But let me start. Danielle, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. I'm a mom now. I got 2 babies, so I stay busy with my kids, and I'm doing good. This is like all so fun to kind of like get back into like Survivor mode and like, dive in deep to all the conversations from the past. And like, it's been so long. So it just feels good to kind of get back into it. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh my God, I'm thrilled. Before we even talk about Cirie or Survivor 50, I want to share a personal anecdote. It's, so season 45 is on. It's October of 2023. All of us are there for the Rob is a Podcast live show that was in Brea. And the morning of the show, me, Kelly, and Dee, we go to the Coffee Bean. We got to get a coffee. It's 8 a.m. I don't drink coffee, but I'm up and I had the rental car. So we all pile in the car. We get coffee. And Danielle, we see you at the Coffee Bean. You're at the Coffee Bean.
I know. That was the best day ever. Oh my gosh. I was so stoked. Like I was like half asleep. I just dropped my son off. And I was like, I need a coffee. And I walk in, never like it's crazy. Like how I just remember being like, looking at you guys and being like, no. I knew right away who you were. And I was just like, what do I do? Like, do I go up to them? Like, do I stand here and let them notice me? Like, it was the best. It was the best.
Dee, I know for a fact, had not ever watched, Survivor, past like the few seasons of the new era at that point. And Kelly, I wasn't sure if she had seen you, but I was like, oh my God, it's Danielle DiLorenzo. Like, it was crazy. For all of us, we were having such a fun time. And we chatted. You were so nice. And now look at us. We're here. We're back.
I know.
Tell me, Danielle, so you had posted, before we get into Cirie, you had posted that you were contacted for Survivor 50 early on when they were doing their initial calls. But tell me, what about Survivor 50 for you was like? What was pulling you back in after 15 years? What was the most exciting prospect of getting to saddle up and go back out there?
Yeah, I mean, I always said, like, I played twice and I came so close the first time. I came in second, and then I feel like I went out really in a really difficult way with Russell and having like an emotional breakdown during tribal council. And I just have more fight in me, and I just know like I'm stronger, smarter, wiser now. I'm 20 years older. I just have a lot to bring to the game, being a mother now, and it's just a whole different dimension. And it would be so incredibly amazing to get out there again and just like see what I have, because I know I have a heck of a lot more fight in me. And I think that I have a really great shot at winning if I could have one more chance. And I always said that when people were like, would you play again? And I'm like, yeah, I would play one more time, because I feel like third time's the charm. And, I can really have a good shot at winning that $1 million. And
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I played like so long ago that like back, now there's a whole new era of the game, and I'm aware of the evolvement of the game. So I feel like I would bring my awareness of that as well as like the old school mentality into it, and then just make like a really interesting dynamic and see how I would play.
Have you ever stopped watching Survivor, or you've watched this whole time? You've watched all the way through?
I have watched the whole time. I'm obsessed.
We're learning, just from talking to some folks who know Colby and know Stephanie, like they hadn't watched. And then now they're just going back and catching up, which I think having somebody who has been committed the entire time, whereas like the folks who are coming back to the season 50 from the era of the time that you played, like even Cirie, I think, has taken a couple breaks in terms of watching. You having seen all of the new era people who are going to be there, I think would be like such an invaluable asset that the other folks that are going there, they don't have. Like they're going to be doing it on the fly.
Right. And they're probably going to be playing a lot like how they played before and not kind of being aware of like the new era. And I think that might work against them.
Yeah, well, tell me, like we have I'll show you the group here. How do you think you would have gelled in this group? Where are you leaning in this group if you're there? Just, take Cirie out of the equation and you're in the Cirie spot. Like, how does that feel for you in terms of who you're there with?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new era players. So which would be really, really fun, and different. The only people that I played with Stephanie and I played with Colby, obviously Cirie, and I played with Coach. But everybody else would be new. And so it would be like fair game. And I think I would have like a really great shot. Like, I don't know. Let me think who I think Mike White is really intriguing. I love Charlie. He's from Boston. I'm from Boston. I think that we would jive. I love D. Aubrey's interesting. I feel like, her and I could do some work. And Geneva, I don't know about Geneva. I don't know if I would trust her. And Ozzy, oh my God, I like just seeing him would be like, I'd be a little like starstruck a little bit because he was
he's
old
round 5
school,
also.
like real Survivor.
Well, let me ask you about Cirie. I don't know. Think back to, you're 2005, you're leaving for Panama, you're in the pregame. What's the first impression that you have of Cirie when you're seeing her from a distance?
I mean, she doesn't look like super intimidating and like she's going to be like a challenge beast or anything like that. She just looks like a mom, and she looks like somebody that is approachable in a way. And she's like very, very social and nice. And yeah, I mean, I didn't like ever look at her and be like, oh, she's going to be like this, like crazy manipulative, strategic, like person, and I think that's a lot of people underestimated her in that aspect because she didn't come out like this powerhouse, like super challenge beast and, workhorse around camp. And so she didn't like, there weren't red flags going up around her all the time. But what people weren't really like understanding is that she is very manipulative and she's gaming all the time. And she's working the social aspect of the game, the strategic aspect of the game. And that can be really dangerous. I mean, look at Camilla. I mean, we just saw how dangerous that can be when people are not really like looking closely at someone. They're underestimating them. They're working circles around them behind their eyes, So
she was doing that while you guys are on this, Kasaya camp, which, people complain about the new era, that there's not enough like arguing and infighting among people. The Kasaya folks, you guys were arguing. It was a lot of intense personalities for the group that you guys had. Talk me through living through that. What is that like being in that element? You're hungry, you're tired, and then you have people who are just, bickering all the time. Because really, like, with few exceptions, that doesn't really exist now in the new era, where everybody is more amiable a lot of the time.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it just made the experience a lot harder because you're like so depleted, you're so lethargic, you're just like, this is such an insane experience that if you have more support while you're there through the people that you're working with, and like people are more kind and empathetic towards you in the situation, like it can be a better experience. Like if you're with like grumpy relatives that you haven't seen and they're just like not nice to you all the time, like, and they just berate you and kick you down, and like it's like that's not fun. So yeah, it didn't make it fun.
Well, it's funny because Cirie is going to encounter like a lot of, of the more intense personalities, like a Q, for example, somebody who is like a little bit more antagonistic, but you saw Cirie in person, like deal with a Shane type or a Courtney type, how was Cirie dealing with that personality type? Like, how did you like observe her in that element, like having to kind of, work with somebody who is a little bit more on the intense side?
Yeah, she's just like very bubbly, and like she has the ability to just kind of like laugh things off and make people feel like unthreatened. So I think like with Shane, I would see her just kind of level with him and like kind of make him listen to her. Like she was like Mama Cirie for a lot with Shane. Like I saw like her mom's side come out with him, and like she would like kind of work that angle with him and build that trust through acting more like a mama to him. And then to other people, yeah, she would just kill them with kindness and just kind of like, she knew like how they were being, and just like they could be disrespectful and things like that, but they weren't really like that with her because of the way that she spoke with them and kind of like leveled with them, is what I saw.
Yeah, it's interesting. You have like the mom type in these seasons now. Like you have like Mama J or Mama C, whatever. Those folks are really working with like the younger contingent on the tribe. But Cirie has the ability to like be that comforting mother presence to even a Shane, who like I don't know what their age difference is, but it can't be much.
It wasn't much.
Yeah, she's that comforting energy to whoever she's around, which I think is in a game obviously like this, has proven to be helpful quite a few times. What's the skill that you've seen Cirie exhibit in the time that you played with her that you thought was just like above and beyond everybody else that you were with? Was there anything in particular that you could identify as her like secret weapon, so to speak?
Just her ability to like be talking to like everybody and not having anyone really know. She had like these relationships with multiple people, and people respected her, but they also just like didn't look at her like a threat. So she had that, like she was like a chameleon, like she kind of ran around to all the different players, and did it in a way where it was like a finesse. Like she didn't cause any people to be like, oh, we need to watch out for Cirie. Cirie's strategizing really hard. Like we got to watch out for her. So I think the ability for her to just kind of talk to everybody and be gaming with everyone and not having really a lot of people know.
Yeah. I was going through some clips of the Panama season right before we did this. And the clip of you and Aris, you guys are walking at the final two, you win the breakfast, and then he falls and like hurts himself badly. In the event that he got like medevaced, like I think you win. Do you just win? Was there ever any thought of like, we just get, there's no more vote. He's in the hospital.
I know, that's actually a really good question. I don't know what they would do. I mean, I guess that would have to be what would happen. What would happen if he like had to get medevaced out and there was no option. Yeah, that would have been great.
It's a survivor first. How bad was the injury? Do you remember that? Like, what was the fall like? I mean, it shows like it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I just remember, I mean, we were both so worn down. I mean, you have to remember, like back then, like we went 39 days, like it's 26 days now. And like, it's a big difference going that much longer. And we didn't have food. Like we really didn't have food and water. And like every time, like I say this, like I watch, the seasons now, and they just go and like they fetch water out of the well. And like that for us, like, in order for us to get water, we had to like hike up this giant hill, fetch the water, like with these giant canteens, and we had to like lug the canteens back down the hill. We had to start the fire, boil the water, and then let the water cool. And then we had to like pour it into everybody's canteen. So everybody, got water. So that was the process every single time. And it was like so exhausting, doing that alone, and now just seeing how easy it is for you guys to get water. I'm like, but yeah, so funny. back to your point, like we were dying, and I was so lightheaded, and I know he was too. And he slipped on that rock and he fell. And yeah, it wasn't crazy bad, but it was bad enough where like, because of the state that the both of us were in, like he needed to have medical attention for sure. Like he was bleeding, he was gushing blood. I think I forget if it was like his knee or his shin or something, but I think it was just like, we were tapped out. Like the both of us were like, I don't think I could have gone one more day. I'm not even like, and Aris and I talked about that. We're like, I don't think we could have gone one more day. Like, we were that out of done.
Well, the culture shock that people are going to be hit with once they get there, and it is now the 26-day quicker game, and the water is like you said, it's nobody's boiling the water in the new era. I don't know if they even make it look like you're boiling. They tell you to, if my memory is correct, they tell you that like you should do it, but nobody does it because you're thirsty, and some people don't have fire for however many days. So it will be a culture shock to people once they get there, that it is a little bit like, it's like, oh, it's just right there. It's 10 feet away from where we're sleeping, which is, it adds to so much more game, and like, give me your take on, like, you're going to the journey, you're going on to the little island and playing the game and getting the advantage. Do you enjoy that in Survivor? Is that fun for you?
To go on the island and get an advantage?
Yeah. Do you like when now that there's so many of those things,
yeah.
or do you like?
No, I mean, it's okay. It's just kind of like, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I think there's too much stuff. There's like too many advantages and idols and shot in the darks. And it's just like, I think it's kind of overwhelming. Like, it just takes away from like, it doesn't, the simplicity of the game. Like, the game wasn't like that before. And I know they want to change it up and make it more exciting for the fans. But I don't think, it doesn't really do anything for me. Like, it doesn't, I'm not like, oh, it's just like, it's the same song and dance every time. Like the last, 4 or 5 seasons that they've done it. I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because it's like, I think of like a Colby type who you play with. Colby, Colby was confused, Danielle, when you were playing with Colby. You know what I mean? And it was a lot slower of a situation. And Colby's gonna go to the island and get the advantage. Apparently we talked to Tina Wesson, who played with Colby. And Colby's been prepping really hard. Has watched every season. He's in it. So I'm curious to see what happens. But back when you were there, he was kind of, you take it or leave it, Colby.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when I feel like, I mean, I love Colby, but like when he played, compared to like how everyone spoke about how he played, like he was a super competitor and like, like super athlete and super gamer. I was just like, I don't see it when I played with them in Heroes vs. Villains. Like, I don't know if he had something. I don't know. I just felt like he checked out like really early on in the game, and it wasn't the Colby Donaldson that everybody knew. So I'm actually like looking forward to seeing how he's going to play this. I think it's his third. Is it his third time?
This is 4. This is number
4
4
time. Okay, so 4 time. Yeah. So I'm actually interested to see, because the last time he played, it just wasn't him. Like, I don't feel like he, played to his potential. Let's just say.
Well, Tina, who we just spoke to, Tina said that, and they've talked obviously leading up to him leaving, like he's embarrassed about how it went, and he used the word like he regrets like going. I think he feels like he didn't. I think Tina's words were he felt like he didn't respect the game. Like he felt like it was more of he was like a little bit above what Survivor was to him, and now I think he wants to like rebuild that legacy that he left there. And you have Coach too, who you were with for a little bit. What was your Coach experience like?
Well, on the island, he was just the guy that was like doing like Tai Feng, like doing all his karate things and feng shui, like, his yoga. And I don't see him as like a huge strategist by any means, or like I mean, he was definitely like helpful in challenges. Like he's a strong player in challenges, but he's not like a challenge beast by any mind, and his socially, it'll be interesting to see how he's going to play this time, because he's just a character. He's a character. Yeah. He's a great guy. He's a character. But I think that's what everybody's mostly like pulled to with him, is just watching.
What was your pregame for Heroes versus Villains like, in terms of, were you doing the pre-gaming thing before they started? Were you contacting people, or did you go in not knowing who was there?
I went in not knowing who was there. I mean, I think I heard through the grapevine, like a few people that were going to be there, but like I didn't call anybody. I didn't do that. I didn't make any previous alliances, and I don't believe in that, honestly, because Survivor is like, it's so unpredictable, and it's like you go in, like I hear a lot of people saying, well, I had like, this was my strategy and like this was my plan, and I don't think that's that you should do that, because why? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. And then you go in with this, this understanding like, this is how I'm going to play. But then if things don't fall the way that they, that you want them to, then you're going to be all thrown off. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I like to I'm going to go in, I'm going to be as present as possible. I'm going to be as aware as possible and work my magic that way. And like, just kind of go off of intuition and what I feel and my connection with people, my trust with people, and kind of move along the game like that. Like I don't ever feel that like making previous alliances would ever benefit me in any way.
Yeah, it sounds like from this group, this past season 50 group, it's a lot of what's going on now. Before they left was everybody was talking to one another. Everybody went in with groups. Even the past couple, I know Winners at War, that was a big thing. Everybody was contacting each other. But it is, I think it's, why invest your time into something that may never pan out? If you and Cirie talk before Heroes versus Villains and you just end up on different tribes as you did, then what was it all for? It's for nothing.
Exactly. And it's like stressful to be like, okay, well, I'm going to work with you. And then like calling this person, I'm going to work with you. And I don't know. I mean, have an idea of who's going out there. And if you want to have some phone calls and just catch up with people and like reconnect, that's fine. But like to say like, I'm going to align with you or I'm going to work with you. Like, I don't know. I think that's silly.
What has been the experience for you watching Cirie now come back all the times that Cirie's come back? I'm not sure if you watch The Traders as well. Tell me about your Cirie experience on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I didn't watch Traders, but I mean, everyone loves her. She's made a name for herself, and she has, because she got off the couch, that was her story back then. Like she got off the couch and she made something of herself, and she did things. She challenged herself, and I think that's very honorable, and I love that. And I know now that she's got all this confidence, and and she's coming back. And yeah, I mean, I honestly I haven't watched her again since the time that I played with her, so I don't know how she's playing again now. So I'd be interested to see for sure how she's going to play this time around. Knowing that she is a threat in a lot of ways, people know now who she is and how she's played. So they're going to definitely be like looking out for her, but I don't think she's going to be like on top of everybody's mind. Like I feel like an Aussie or, who else is going out there like that is like a giant threat that, I mean, even Geneva, like just by the way that she's played, like, you know what I mean? Like people are more aware of someone like that than they are with Cirie.
For sure. And like, I don't think anybody wants to be the person. Nobody wants to be the person who's voting Cirie out first or early. I feel like you come home to a very negative reception if you're the one who makes the plan to get out Cirie. I wouldn't be that person. I would let somebody else take that bullet for me. I don't want to deal with the people online for voting.
I know they love her.
Will. Tell me about. Is there anybody from the time that you spent on Survivor who's not playing on season 50 that you would have liked to have seen play again, other than you, of course, which I would have preferred to see that. But tell me if anybody comes to mind.
I'm trying to think. I thought Amanda was going to go back.
It's crazy that she's not. It's
I know. I was kind of like, because it's funny with Amanda and I, because we ended up working together after we were on the show, and we built a friendship. But I mean, I haven't spoken to her at all lately, and I know she like moved away and she's a mom now as well, but like she's completely like dropped off. Like I don't think anyone even like speaks to her at all anymore. But I for sure thought that she would go back, and a lot of people loved her, and so I was just kind of shocked. I was shocked that Stephanie LaGrossa got picked over her, and Stephanie's great. It's just that I just felt that Amanda would have got pushed harder to get to the final cut than Stephanie.
Yes, Sharon Tharp, who's an entertainment reporter who's reporting on Survivor 50 and Big Brother and all that fun stuff, posted that Amanda had like scheduling conflicts. But like, what's the conflict? Come play Survivor. You know what I mean? Like, what's the But that was the rumor was that she had some kind of scheduling issue.
Really?
That she couldn't make it work. It's Danielle. It's 26 days. What's move the dentist appointment? You know what I mean? If it's something if it's something that you can move, what are you doing? Because I know a ton of us would have liked to.
What could possibly be more important than going back to Survivor?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got people who would love to have been there. But tell me, what was the job with Amanda? What did you guys do?
Wild. Okay, so we worked at this place in Hollywood together, called the Sayers Club, and it was just really awesome entertainment. Like bands would come and perform, and it was a very like cool, like almost felt like you were in someone's living room, and like the Fray would come, or like Kings of Leon, or the Prince played like a bunch of times. So like thousands and thousands of girls applied for this position, and only 5 of us got it. And I had no idea Amanda applied. She didn't know I applied. We hadn't seen each other since Survivor, the fight, the popcorn fight, and the whole thing. And I got her voted off. And I don't think she was very fond of me, to be quite honest. So we walk in for our training session, our first day of training, and I'm walking into the building, and she comes walking in the building. And we meet like head to head, and we're like, she's like, Danielle. I'm like, Amanda. Well, hello. Like, how awkward is this? I guess we're going to be working together now. How lovely. So yeah, that was like, and then we worked together for like 3 years.
Oh, wow. It's a while.
Yeah, we worked together for a while.
Did the relationship repair itself in the time that you were together? Did it? Did you end up being like buddies?
Yeah, we were cool. Yeah, for sure. In the beginning, it was a little wonky, but we worked it out, and we were fine. We were totally fine, and we were just competitive, like, you know, we were doing bottle service, so we were competitive with the tables, and you know, who is making more money, and blah 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 blah. But it was great. No, it was fine. It was just really funny.
People love that popcorn Treasure Island of it all. Like, if I scroll through TikTok and I see people post that clip constantly. People really love that.
It was pretty epic, honestly. It was pretty funny. And the fact that Colby was like just so like not even I watched it back, and I just like, what was he doing? Like, how did he not? He's so unaware of what was going on, you know? But God bless him, because he took my side and, you know, told Amanda to give the idol back to me, which honestly, like, is that even like legal? Can you steal an idol from someone once they possess it? Like, that's what.
I don't think so. I think there's something with Survivor that I've noticed where, like, you know, there's been some times where there's a guy, Ben, on Heroes, Healers, Hustlers, where he asks if like this idol's real, which Jeff normally does after the votes, but because Ben asked, Jeff makes like this split decision. Like, it's good TV to just say yes. So I wonder if, because Amanda like does something balls to the wall, if they would allow it in that point. But it's so fun. I always think about, when I think about that, like, you still have to, like, that interaction happens. You're still watching the movie. Like, you don't go home after that. Like, you had to like sit there awkwardly afterward for a while.
It was so awkward. It was just like so uncomfortable. And like, I was shaking, because I was just like, how is this happening? You know, and the camera guys are just kind of like in your face, staring at you, like loving it, you know, getting a show.
Were you annoyed that you had to watch Treasure Island? Nobody wants to watch an old treasure. Like, who cares about Treasure Island?
I don't even think I watched it. Like, I was so on, like, I was wondering, like, you know, you can't focus watching a movie on Survivor, like, when there's $1 million on the line. Like, I didn't watch it. I was standing there like staring at it, and then just thinking of like, is there an idol in this popcorn, or like, what's going to happen next? Or like, I'm sitting here with like Colby and Amanda, and they're on the opposite team of me, and what am I going to do? Like, your mind just races.
What a time. What a fun time. Let's run that back. Bring everybody from, I don't know if we need Russell, but bring everybody from that season back. All like the 19 of you guys, and let's do it again, because what a group that was.
Oh my God. That was so fun. That was
how was traveling around with that group after the season and during the season? Like, was that a fun group to hang with, more so than the Panama group?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Like, yeah, I mean, minus Russell.
Sure. Who we love, Russell.
No, yeah, no, it was good vibes. It was good vibes for the most part, with like everybody on that. Well, again, a lot of strong personalities, a lot of egos, but it's challenging when you get to play. Like, I think someone asked me, like, you know, players that play again when they come back with the season, that's all people that have won, or, you know, did really well, or they don't like that because there's too many egos involved, and it but I do. I think it's more challenging and it's more fun because everyone knows how to play. It's like, and it's just more intense, and it just makes it more fun for me because I'm just a super competitive person. So there's nobody that's like you have to hold anybody's hand. Like everybody's like game on, ready to go. And that to me was just freaking awesome.
Do you watch any of the other reality shows? I know you didn't see Cirie on Traders, but are you watching anything like Traders, Deal or No Deal Island, Big Brother, any of that fun stuff?
I've watched Deal or No Deal a little bit, or Love Island a couple times, but not really. I have two small kids. It's really hard for me to it took me, I was behind on Survivor like 3 episodes, and I remember I was scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, no.
That might have been us. We be spoil it on Instagram sometimes. The Rob is a podcast.
Totally. I'm like, shit.
So
but yeah, I wish I had more time to watch TV, but I just don't right now. And I would, don't get me wrong, I want to watch Traders because I've heard a lot of great things about it.
You would be great at that. You really should consider that is a Danielle Nath game.
That's what everybody says.
You would
a
be
lot of
great
people are
at
saying that to me. I'm like, I'll do it. If it's Survivor, if it's like Survivor, which I know it is, it's the same kind of idea. Then I'm in.
Yeah.
I know Parvati did it and kicked butt. So.
She did great. Who are you still talking to from your Survivor time? Is there anybody that you're close with or that you talk to with often?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm super close with anyone really, but I do keep in touch with Bruce, Aris, Parvati. I would say those are Terry. I've talked to Terry a little bit, and his wife. His wife is so sweet. Yeah, that's probably about it. And Shane, I've spoken to in the past years and years and years ago, but I don't really speak with him anymore. But yeah, I just keep in touch, kind of check in a few times a year, but not I'm not buddy. I live in Orange County. Everybody's kind of all over the place. So, but yeah, no, I have, especially with having 2 kids, it's hard.
It's hard. It absolutely. Tell me, I'll pull this graphic up again, but tell me, Danielle, do you have a winner pick for season 50? Are they here among us?
Ooh, I know. That's if I had to
put you on the spot.
Yeah, no. I love Charlie, man. I'm rooting for. I love Cirie too, but I don't think she'll win. I think Charlie, if he plays his cards right, has a really good shot.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's got a good situation. I think that I think a lot of the older folks, especially a Colby, who maybe is not coming in with the super strategic outlook, or an Ozzy, that's who they grab. They grab the super strategic guy. Your Charlie, and then Charlie can maybe put up a better case against them at the end to why they should win. But Danielle, this was so much fun. I'm so glad we chatted. This is great.
I know, this was great. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. It's an honor, and it's so fun to be able to talk Survivor talk, because I can't do it with my 2.5-year-old and my 4-year-old yet.
Not yet.
Wait for the day that I can show them look what mommy did, and talk to them about it and get them hooked on the show.
Well, hey, people are saying, the streets are saying, this was Survivor 50, whatever, but 54, 55, you're in. When they call you, you're in.
Oh, I am in. I am so in. I was ready to go when they called me back in September. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to find a way. I haven't left my kids for more than a night, but I will leave them for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
I found childcare. I figured it out. I was going to have family help, and I was going to do it. So and I'm so stoked. I have to play again. I feel it in my heart that I will have another opportunity to play. I really do. Because I really want to play again.
Listen, I know this whole community, I can speak for all of us. Everybody wants to see you. I see it constantly online. People were, even the whole lead up to 50, people were throwing your name out as wanting to be there, and I think people were disappointed when they, not that they saw the initial group and they were disappointed at the group, although that is also sometimes true. But I think people were bummed to not see you there. So listen, I think once they get the returnee bug, once they do it once, they do it a couple more times afterwards, historically. So it could happen.
I think it will. I think
Tell
you'll
everybody,
see.
Danielle, where they can follow you.
Oh, you guys can follow me on Instagram. Danielle, it's Mrs. Danielle Nath, at Mrs. Danielle Nath. And yeah, and I'm on Facebook. I don't really use Twitter or any of that other stuff.
You don't need to. Nothing good is happening over there. Yeah, it's not a fun place over there. But thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you for joining us on our episode about Cirie Fields. And listen, there might be more. Stay tuned for more.
All right.
This has been Brandon Donlon. We will chat soon. Take care, everybody. We are back again on the Survivor 50 Files talking about Cirie Fields. And we couldn't talk about Cirie Fields without talking to one of her own children. Just ignored every one of the DMs I've sent. We have here with us, you know her from Big Brother, you know her from Only Big Brother, has nothing else coming up anytime in the future. It's Izzy. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be representing Fields, here on the podcast.
We're here and we're thriving. I want to hear from you, Izzy, just because I don't think I know this, is tell me your origin story with Survivor. I know you had watched Big Brother for a little bit, but Survivor, I think you told me before, was relatively new.
Yeah, all of it was new. Listen, if we're going to go way back when, origin story, my parents are intellectual hippies who love contemporary art and Scrabble, and
Right.
My childhood relationship to pop culture and reality TV was limited. Not because they wanted to, but just the culture in my house was
Sure.
hoity-toity. I'm a classical flute player. You know what I mean? Whatever. So I didn't have it as a kid, but when I started dating Paige, the best thing that's ever happened, and I blame her for all of this, is when we were dating and we were in the pandemic and we had nothing to do, she was like, bitch, I can't believe you've never seen Survivor. You're going to freak out. You're going to love Survivor. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. And the first season we watched was, you're going to laugh. The first season ever, because this is how my brain works. I was like, let's watch season 33 because that's my favorite number.
Oh, that's a great strategy, though. I like that strategy.
I don't care. We have now, for the fans out there, we have gone in a linear fashion,
Sure.
But my initial entryway into Survivor was non-linear and it followed players that I liked. So because we watched 33 first, millennials versus Gen Z, what is it? Gen X?
Gen X.
I want them to do Gen Z anyway, millennials.
I'm ready for the millennials versus Gen Z. The Gen Zs are funny. They're a funny people, the Gen Z.
Completely. I don't understand them. Yeah, so we watched that, and then I was digging it, and because Michaela and Zeke were on the next season, Game Changers, we watched Game Changers next. And then, of course, I was like, Cirie Fields is my favorite person, and her Game Changers exit was heartbreaking. All of them are, but that just feels like
it's a tough
production, game design wise, this is bad, so not satisfying. So then we went back and we watched all of Cirie's seasons in order.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so that was it.
You completed Cirie before you completed anything else, and then where did you go after Cirie?
I maybe don't even remember. I think then we started filling in the gaps, and it was let's watch Cook Islands, let's watch So
before even we talk about Cirie as her entity and the entity that you now know very well, this is your first time living through now a Survivor All-Star season. This is the first time you're getting to be in this part of the All-Star season where the rumors are out, and then we have the cast, and then everybody's kind of upset about the cast. What is your feeling on the Survivor 50 cast now, having had a couple weeks to kind of digest?
Yeah, I mean, listen, production's going to let you down, people. So just already know that. No one knows that more than me. Production's going to let you down. But I think I felt Winners at War was sort of framed, or my interpretation of it was a closing of a chapter. And I don't necessarily need every 5 or 10 year anniversary to be a fucking retrospective of the whole show. I actually kind of this is without the Cirie of it. Cirie gets cast on everything ever, forever, for the rest of her life. But I actually don't need any old school. people on the season. I don't need any winners on any returning season. They already got their money. I'm someone that needs the money. Like, I want to play these games on TV because on TV is the only way you're going to get money, you know?
So there really is no non-televised thing like this that you can go win money.
Brandon, you know, I love an LRG and ORG. Like, I'm a real gamer about it. I like playing these games. To me, the only appeal about TV is the money. So
yeah, even if there was no TV, we'd be playing. We like to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd be out there. So I think like no winners. So like that would be a thing for me. I think it's weird to have, it's like that, I don't know the right term, but that sort of like immediate complex where like you think you need a ton from 48 and 49 because the fans are just going to see it. And
sure. So, the recency bias, if you will. You
know, that's it. I knew you were going to know what it was. Recency bias. I think that in the cast. Yeah. Also, Survivor does not cast MAGA people anymore either. So like,
I agree.
I'm saying it. It's like you want to make a stand. You want to like say, I think 50 should have been where we're going, you know? Anyway.
As opposed to where we've been.
I guess
I agree with that fully. I 1,000,000% agree with that. I want to, you know, it's funny how a couple weeks ago, there's this rumor that comes out. It's like, oh, it's not going to be new era people. We're only going to have, the rumor was 3 new era people with at least 17 old era people. And everybody's like, okay, like, I don't love it, you know, but I think the split that they did is just so weird where I'm like, well, you know, all new era would have been fine. Like I would have taken all new era.
Well, it's like, why not? This would have been the perfect time to do millennials, Gen Z.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, for sure.
Push us into the new era and like have this still generational thing in terms of like the season numbers and also just like the dynamic of the people. And yeah, I think it's like, we got to bring back themes. Like, bring back, like, are you telling me heroes and villains does not work in the new era? Like, that would have been brilliant. Have 50 be heroes, villains. How good, you know?
Right. I mean, or even, you don't even have to have that as much as like game changers. My biggest gripe with game changers was always that the tribes were random, where you have game changers like Cirie, like a Malcolm, like a Tony. And then you have people like a Sarah Lucina who are waiting to change the game. They want to change the game. Right. And that is a clear divide that makes sense on paper. And they don't do that. They didn't do that. And yet the breakdown here where we have on this older era side, we have 12 new era, and then we have 12 older era. But even those folks are disjointed in when they played. It's like you have the old era and the new era. So I'm interested to see how it works. Yeah. But you, my friend, you are the Cirie Fields expert. I'm actually going to pull up a clip from our first Boots draft that we did from Marianne Okic, who had this to say about you during the first Boot draft.
It's coming in knowing, okay? Because Cirie is BFFs with Izzy, and Izzy is a big fan. Izzy would download all that info, all these things, all these stats to Cirie. There is no way that Izzy has not given Cirie a dossier, a PowerPoint, and everything before going out there.
I mean, the dossier is crazy. I love Marianne. Shout out to Marianne for clocking it.
It's so funny because the theme of this podcast, we're calling the Survivor 50 Files, where we are essentially building the dossier for each person. So Izzy, did you do that? Did you give Cirie a dossier?
Okay, a dossier is crazy. I do like to collect thoughts in Google Docs and on paper. You know, I'm tactile. So I do have lots of written notes all around my room from, you know, whatever. But I think, you know, listen, me and Cirie talk a lot. A big part of our relationship are these games and talking about these games. So, you know, I think it's like less so that I presented her with stuff that she should know. And more so like, I think people are going to be shocked at how much she still keeps very up to date on Survivor, New Era Survivor, and knows about the games of a bunch of people that are on the beach, you know? But yeah.
Has she now watched no, she's been filming shows during some of these seasons, but has she now watched the full New Era as far as you're aware?
Yeah.
Has she seen all of it?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
it's interesting.
Cirie's motto, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Okay.
No, I don't have that. Like I'm very in and out on Big Brother. So I didn't capture the full Cirie Big Brother experience, but talk me through like watching Cirie for years, you know, even passively, just because there's no expectation of yours that you're ever going to play with Cirie on any of these shows. What are the things that Cirie did during her run on Survivor that you were particularly attuned to, saying, I want to watch all of her seasons in order? What are those qualities that you witnessed?
I mean, I think like maybe this is like, do you hear this car alarm also that's going off in the background?
I hear the car alarm, but it might, you know,
it'll stop. It's like,
this is like ASMR for our audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just let's
rip it. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the question?
The qualities that you really liked about Cirie watching. Right. You see Game Changers and you're like, who is this woman? Why is the who is this woman thought happening?
Okay. I think like for me, like, I think the reason I love these games is like, you know, anyone talks to me about it, like I view it like sports. Like I feel like an athlete when I'm playing one of these games, you know? And for me, it's like the human element that makes you an athlete in these games. I don't give a shit about how fast you run or how many balls you can put in a target. Like that to me is like only a parameter. It's not actually the game. And so like for me, it's like I just feel like I connect with people that you feel like you know them outside of TV when you're watching them play.
For sure.
Like I just can't express. I mean, everyone feels this. Even from watching Cirie, you get misted, right? Because she's so authentic and honest, you know, and like follows her instincts. And it's just like very captivating to watch. And because she's so smart with people, you know, like she just knows how to read people. She's like really interesting strategically because it's like she might not be the coach that's like writing down every play and knows how to maneuver all the pieces, like those fuck ass straight white boys talking about chess master mind bullshit. I hate that. She like literally understands what moves people to do things, you know, like what moves them to react in a certain way, what moves them to have different interests. And like, yeah, I mean, I guess we use the word manipulate in like a negative way, but she can like really, manipulate those reads she has on people. And it's like kind of beautiful to watch. It's like, wow, that's where the game exists. It's like, that's it. That's amazing, you know? So I mean, so I was like really obsessed with that.
Speaking to that point is that's why, you know, I'm originally captivated by Cirie. Like my first season is Gabon, where it's like 18 people who you would be in like the line at Kohl's with on any random day. It's just like, it's your run of the mill, like not to say that Cirie is run of the mill, but the beautiful part about this show is that these ordinary seeming people that are off the street, people that you would meet in everyday life can do this extraordinary thing. And they have this gear in them that you don't ever get to execute in regular life, or you get to do it like Cirie at work can do it minimally, but Cirie can't do it on this grand scale. And Survivor gives the opportunity to do that. And Cirie is leagues above everybody in those skills, which is knowing her personally now after Big Brother, now Survivor. Do you have any insight into how she got that good at it? Is there any like in her life, like what makes her so good at it?
I mean, I think it's like anyone. I think this is why I think like queer people or any sort of marginalized people, I'll add that to this, have like, I don't know, such good, like we live these games in our entire life, you know? And so I think it's like anyone that knows what it feels like to have to code switch to protect themselves is like training for a Survivor, you know, which is like, that can maybe you can spiral and that can feel like kind of dark, you know, but like anyone that has moves around this world with privilege knows how to maneuver in these games. And I think anyone that has had to like dig for relevancy, to dig to be for equity also has an instinct for maneuvering in these games because like it's literally what you do all the time, you know?
I've never heard that observation before. And it's like, I'm now actualizing it in my head. Is that something that you had thought of pre-playing Big Brother, or did that become more real to you once you were there and you were doing it yourself?
I mean, I think I mean, I'm not so good at it, you know, like I know what it feels like, but I feel like that's something that I've always struggled with. Like before I came out, I like more so tried to just I was never that successful at the code switching, you know, like, but I think so after playing, I think that was a harsh realization actually, that it's like, ooh, I'm having trouble changing people's perception, like first impressions of me, right? Like I'm not good at that part of it. which was a hard realization. But no, I think that's why one of the reasons I got hooked on the whole game was like more and more seeing how it's exactly like real life, that everyone is dealing with the same things that they do in real life on the beach or in the house, you know? And it's like, God, we just can't change that. Like, we won't change the game until people change. And so that like is powerful, you know, like.
Very much so. That's right. I'm like, you know, I love these. I geek out over these shows. So
Me
when I
too.
hear something that I
Yeah,
just
exactly.
haven't heard before, I'm like, wow,
Well, so,
that's
like,
really
me and
something.
Paige, like literally now it's like become our answer to everything. But it's like, how was your day at work today? It's like, oof, I was training today. You know, because it's like I had such a Big Brother day today. Like I hated this person and I needed something from them. So I had to play Big Brother with them, you know, and like Paige will say that too. Or it's like, what did you do? And it's like, oh yeah, well, I was training, you know, like we just say training now because it's like every aspect of our day is ultimately.
Well, you got to IRL train. I guess it's not even training. You were actually playing with Cirie. And you are famously, for folks who are not listening to this, who maybe didn't watch your Big Brother season. So I'd like to set up just say that again.
They're smarter than us. They haven't watched Big Brother season.
Tell everybody about just the moment that you see Jared, you identify Jared, Cirie's son, and then what followed when Cirie appears afterward.
Yeah, I noticed Jared. I clocked Jared before we even walked onto the main stage with Julie Chen for the live premiere. We like were lined up, ready to go, and weren't allowed to speak. We weren't supposed to be looking at each other. And I looked up and I was like, that's Cirie Fields. And I was like, wow, okay. And immediately I was like calmed by that because I was like, ooh, we could share something. Like I had no expectation that Cirie was also going to be there. Like that literally did not cross my mind. But I was like, great, maybe that's the twist. Maybe there's a kid on Survivor or something, you know, like I was like, maybe this is a CBS twist. Great. And so, yeah, so when he lost the first challenge on premiere, I like looked down at him. He even recalls like, man, you looked at me like I felt like I'm going to be okay. You know, I was like, good, because I was so nervous, you know? And then we walk in the house and I see Cirie. We all see Cirie. And I don't know, like, this is just very me. Like, I wanted to play with her. I'm not intimidated by good players. Like, I want to play with good players. I want to play with like, yeah. So anyway, so I was like excited by that. So I pulled Jared right away, told him, you're Cirie's son. And he flipped out, you know, Jared, sweet baby Jared, you know? So, and and then in that moment I was like, right, okay, that was dumb. Like this was not the right time to do this. But,
do you think that now that it was the wrong time to do that? Or is that like I wonder what would have been different for you if it is a week later or 2 weeks later?
Well, it's interesting because like me and Cirie have talked about this a ton, you know, since playing Big Brother. We've talked about this moment. She's since watched the episodes and like seen me pull Jared and was like cracking up over that. And I'm actually happy that it went like the smart gamer in me is like, if I could do it again, I would do it differently. But actually like Cirie says the fact that I basically was so honest, like, and it was like very clear that I was being honest in my reaction and in my like understanding of what the situation was. And like, you know, she was like, yeah, there was a look in your eyes that it was like, I trusted that what you were saying was that you wanted to be with us, you know? And so like, I think if I was a little bit more calculated, which I think, I don't know, maybe would have been better. I don't know. I think maybe it would have taken longer, or maybe I wouldn't have gotten the real Cirie trust. Maybe I would have gotten more of the mist, you know, like I think.
For sure.
So I don't know. So I go back and forth about that, but no, it was terrible. Don't do that if you ever see someone in the house like that.
And people are going to see her just right now. They're living it. Yeah. What is the thing that impressed you the most about just seeing her maneuver through the weeks of Big Brother that you played with her? What is like the quality that you witnessed that you're like, oh my God, she can really do it?
Can I tell you a story to answer this? This is for all those out there. This is how you should do a casting tape also. Tell a story. But so like they don't show this, but like basically every day I went into the DR, they would ask about my relationship with Cirie. And I would always start by being like, I mean, I feel good. I trust her. We've got a plan. We're working well together. We're becoming friends, but I don't know. And then I would have a moment of panic and being like, she's playing me and all of this stuff. And so I had this like internal back and forth. And one time I had said something stupid to fuck ass Red, dumbass Red in the house. I had done something stupid, of course. And Cirie grabbed me and was like, you have to have a conversation with Red right now. Like, you have to fix this right now. And I was like, I don't even know what's going on. Pulled me into the comic room, makes me have this conversation with Red. And throughout the conversation, the body language is that she's with Red. And like the way she's responding is like that I have to apologize and that like bad dog, like that kind of tone. And I'm like just trying to salvage the situation. And in that moment, all I'm thinking is like, wow, I fucked up. Like, that's it. I lost Cirie. Okay, we got to pivot. And I was panicking. Red leaves and Cirie goes, oh, good. That jackass is gone. Okay, good. You did good. That's good. That'll be fine. And I was like, bitch, don't do that ever again to me. Like, don't do that. Like, that's how you do that. Like, I really thought it was real, So
wow.
Anyway,
did Red end up leaving that week? Did that end Red?
I can't. No, Red was gone before he even got there. I don't know.
Sure.
But I don't.
Seems like it. Sorry, Red. I know you're listening to this whole podcast series, but it did seem like that was the case.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember exactly what week it was. Probably because I was too scared out of my mind. But
well, now flash forward to now. When was the moment that Cirie told you that season 50 was a possibility for her? Is that something that you remember the conversation?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
This is all alleged. This whole podcast series is alleged. We don't.
Pretty quick. Pretty quick. Yeah.
And you jump back into game mode of like I can help you in terms of this dossier. This is you have thoughts that could contribute to Cirie.
I feel like returning seasons on all of these shows are really complicated now because of the internet and because of this amazing community that is like super beautiful as an alumni, but also makes returning seasons like very, very complicated. So so I felt like, I have this thing that she doesn't have, which is like having relationships with new era players. Like I know a bunch of new era players in real life. So I felt like maybe not a dossier, but maybe sharing some reads of my own of like personal experience with new era people. I felt like that was going to be really valuable and just like, communicating about experiences that we've had with people and how that might mesh with other people, kind of just like how we would talk in the house, So, yeah.
Not for anything too is, Cirie wins the Traders, which is pre-Big Brother, and even after that, we're still kind of, I believe in COVID. I can't remember the exact year, maybe 2022.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I've seen Cirie like at New York events or just in going to events in general until after Big Brother. And I do contribute a lot of that to you. I think you introduced her to this community that even pre-Traders, pre-COVID, while she's on Survivor a couple of times, she never was somebody who was actively at these activations that are had in the New York City area or beyond. And I do credit you with introducing her to that world and bringing her to the fans who otherwise would never have met her, or even the new era players and some old era players who hadn't met her or had FaceTime with her either.
Yeah, I think, she's been a OG Bryce and winner,
Sure.
Super tight with the Purple Pants squad. But yeah, I think her son, I think Jared being on the show and now being, in the community and like having a friend in me who's out here going to things. I think, like the excuse of it being not just for the show, but also personal coming to these events, I think means a lot to her. So, yeah.
Wow. So in terms of, and I don't want you to throw it. I know you know names. I don't want you to throw any names, but what do you think that Cirie is looking for in like an ally for season 50? She's going to be with a random assortment of now 7 people. I think we can infer that it's 3 tribes.
Yeah,
what kind of person is she looking for to work with to get to the end of Survivor 50?
I mean, first and foremost, she's looking for someone that's not like intimidated by her or maybe doesn't even know who she is, which I think there's potential for that on the beach, actually.
I do think that's correct.
So I think at this point, she's looking for, someone that she knows that she's just going to connect with on a human level. Therefore, isn't going to come for her. Like, I mean, I think we're going to see, listen, Cirie is locked in. She's hungry. She's hungry right now. You know, I think we're all a little bit hungry for her too. So she's coming to play. And I hope this is like her most cutthroat season ever. I hope we see her traveling all over the beach. I don't mean physically. I mean, I hope she's just.
We hope she has a bike on the beach and she's just driving it around.
Listen, no, I hope, you know, like, I hope she's just leaving people in the dust and jumping around, like just doing what she has to do, like at every tribal.
Do you think that playing Big Brother and then, you know, also the traders in that time since then, what skills you think translate there that maybe you wouldn't have unless you did Survivor? I mean, Survivor is now 26 days. Big Brother, what, she was in there for 70, 80 days? Like, you know, it's a much longer situation. But is there any skill that presents itself in Big Brother that even you felt and witnessed that you think would translate to now playing Survivor? She's now, I think, what? Caleb Reynolds played Survivor after Big Brother, as did Hayden. I guess she's the now third person. Yeah. She's the third person to make the switch. Is there anything there?
I mean, I think just like her hatred for Big Brother is.
Like, don't send me back there. I'll do this every year to not
like,
do that.
I mean, everyone's already sending around that clip of her saying to Felicia, "I would rather starve on an island." Like, your wish is your command, girl. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think speed is going to be. I think the 26-day game is going to be in her favor, actually, because I think things move really, really fast, which means. Which is very different than Big Brother. You know, I think if Big Brother moved faster, I think it would have been a better game for me. I think it also would have been a better game for her, just because she was like deteriorating because she hated it, you know, not because she didn't have the game capacity, but like the hatred was eating away at her, you know? So,
do you have any indication, like, and maybe this has been said by Cirie, but how did Cirie get to Big Brother? Like, what happened that landed Cirie in the Big Brother house?
I don't know. They called her.
They called her. They just said, "You want to do it?" I didn't know if Jared was there first, and then Jared was like, "Can my mom come?" Or they called Cirie, and then she said, "Jared." Like, I'm curious if that line of.
I believe Jared was in it, you know. I think Jared was in it, and then Cirie got called.
Wow!
But
now,
I
don't know. Did
I don't
you
know the order of that?
That the David versus Goliath story with Jared. Did you know that when you saw Jared for Big Brother?
So I mean, like, yes, in retrospect, but that's not. It's crazy. I actually do not forget faces. Like, I forget names. I will not remember anyone's name. I can't even remember dates. Like, I don't know any holidays, no day. Yeah. I don't even know when July 4th is. I don't know the date.
Sure.
But like, I remember faces. And at the time, some people think that people have this wrong. People thought I was such a fangirl. I was already in the like RHAP community, Bryce and Wen, like going to parties. I was not. I had no idea even that any of that stuff existed. Like, I was just so not an online person, and I still consider myself not an online person. Like, I had no idea. So like, Cirie was literally the only reality TV person I was following on Instagram, because I was like, okay. And she had posted something about her son being a musician and like having a single, and I think I was like, that's cool. Like,
oh, you responded pre Big Brother, like pre-playing.
So I like was following. I was like, fuck it, this is what people do, because this is how not on the internet. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna follow Jared too. Maybe I'll hear his music, like literally. And so I think because I followed her on Instagram, like she posts pictures with her son. Like, I just was like, that is Cirie Fields' son. Like, it was. I just had this recall. Anyway, yeah, it was crazy, and I hadn't been thinking about it or Survivor because I was so. The internet also loves to, I said almost, but I watched Big Brother like twice over before going in the house. You know, I watched so much of Big Brother. I was just so Big Brother focused.
What does your game look like on Survivor? What do you, if Izzy Gleicher's on Survivor, how do you think you play those first couple rounds?
Oh man, you know, I've thought about this a lot.
That's why I'm asking. That's why we're here. This is Survivor 55.
Well, okay, here's like, listen, I think it's hard to, I've learned this. Like, I felt this before, and then after playing, I think I really believe this. I think I have no idea how I will play pre-merge because you just have no idea who you're playing with. And I just like can't express enough that, like, at least for me, like if I was on a tribe that needed a leader, I probably would recognize that and step up. If there were loud voices, especially since playing Big Brother, people I've learned a lot. Great. I'm just a great time on this, like it's just so dependent on who you're playing with. So that part, like, I don't know, but I think, yeah, but oh man, the fast game would be good for me. Like I can make quick decisions. And I think that's important on Survivor. I think people that are indecisive actually get themselves screwed on Survivor.
Do you think you'd be better now playing Survivor because you played a game with Cirie and you got to watch like somebody who is like a master at work? Do you think those skills now you could like usurp something?
Well, it's crazy because like, what did she say? We were talking about this before she left, but she was like, you're the brains with the diagrams and the plans, and I'm the social, like, so I think like it's not so much that it's like I can't do what Cirie does. I've learned like what works for her, but if I tried to play like Cirie, it would be insincere, Right. And I think insincerity would be my biggest downfall. It was my biggest downfall in the Big Brother house because I couldn't fucking fake it with Cameron. Like insincerity is really like hard for me and probably something I can't fake and something I probably couldn't fix before Jeff calls me to play on Survivor. So I think it's more like, yeah, just thinking about relationships more in the way that she can follow her instincts. And like, that's like helped me to learn to follow my instincts. I think is probably like the biggest takeaway, but no one can play like Cirie because no one is Cirie, but that means like no one can play like Brandon Donlon.
And you wouldn't want to, America, and everybody else who's watching, you wouldn't want to. Let me show you while we're talking about relationships, here's the whole group here. Now, in terms of Cirie not being able to fake it, is there anybody that you can see in front of you that you think Cirie is going to have a more difficult time interacting with?
Well, no. Cirie can fake it. I can't fake. Cirie's going to be able to fake it.
Well, I agree, but there's some strong personalities in this group that it'd be hard for anybody to fake it. Who is Cirie going to have to really try? You know what I mean? Really, really hone in on that faking it.
I think she's going to hate Joe.
Do you think she's going to hate Joe?
I think she's not going to like Joe. I think she's not going to like Q.
Tell me more about why Cirie wouldn't like Joe.
Because like, Joe needs to be present.
Sure.
Joe, like, I don't know. Joe's intense. Joe's got that little integrity bug that the real ones don't give a shit about. Like, yeah, I think.
Is that what will detract Cirie from Joe more? Is it the integrity of it all, or is it the having to be kind of the guy when you're in a group of 6-8 people?
Well, whatever. I think she's like expecting a guy like that to be the guy like that. And I think that's going to be hard, but I think it's the integrity bug that's going to annoy her the most. Because she's like, we're here at work. Like, what's your problem? Like, what we signed up for. Like, I don't understand. Like
Q does not have the integrity bug, but what do you think the Q issue would be?
No, but he doesn't shut up and he's annoying. Like, she's going to be so annoyed, like that's just.
I love Q. I've never played Survivor with Q. I cannot speak to that experience, but
and
I'm interested in
have a hard time with Charlie.
Really? Why Charlie?
Yeah, because sorry, Charlie, but those like palatable men that say a lot of words, but it's only summary. It's never actually like deducing anything interesting from that, like he can. Yeah.
We did this first boot draft the other day where Zach compared Charlie to Corey. Like they have similar scenarios. Is that something that you recognize with Corey and Charlie?
I mean, yes, I think Corey has more of like the bravado ego bug in him than Charlie does. But they both have that like, how can you not tell that I am the smartest person here? And I am tricking you with everything I say, but like actually has nothing to say. ever. You know, I think give Charlie 8 years, then he should have played Survivor. That's what I said to Corey. I was like, give you 10 years. You should have played Big Brother at 32.
Mm-hmm.
You know
what? Everybody says that. Everybody says, that just like that. I've talked to folks for however long. Everybody thinks that 5 to 10 years later would have done them. Even if you go on at 30, like 30 wasn't old enough. Like people, I think they yearn for that life experience, which is interesting with Charlie. Is there anybody here that you see that maybe Cirie hasn't necessarily mentioned offhand, but you think Cirie would love right off the bat?
I mean, her and Aubrey are going to, I think if they get to play together, I don't know what, I kind of hope Aubrey is on Cirie's for starting tribe. I think that's going to be a great relationship for her if they can get to each other on the beach.
And they play quite a bit of Game Changers together. Yeah. They played for most of the whole end. I believe they were on separate starting tribes, but I don't remember a lot about Aubrey's Game Changers run. Like I remember like Korong, like it was yesterday. I could tell you everything about the Korong run, but Game Changers, I think she had a quieter run and only she places 5th. Cirie is 6th. So they're right next to each other. But I'm interested in what Aubrey is going to bring to a 4th time.
Yeah, Aubrey's got a kid now. You know what I mean? Like she's like a new woman. Like I feel like she's had this like huge life, evolution, and now she's coming back to the game. I think that's going to be interesting. Is Jeff like? I mean, I think everyone's a little gay, but like Jeff is gay for Colby. Like, why is Colby on this cast? You know what I mean? Cirie is going to kill Colby, like.
And they spent some time together. I believe Colby idled Cirie out famously of Heroes vs. Villains. I don't know if Colby had the idol physically, but Cirie left 4th in Heroes vs. Villains because of an alliance with Colby. I am very interested in the Colby return, only because Colby round 3 is like super tired. Super like he seems disinterested. He seems like a little bit like above the show, maybe just like it wasn't, but now I think, go ahead.
No, just like, have you seen, I want you to finish your thought, Brandon.
I am curious as to now his first confessional in Heroes vs. Villains is one of my favorite Survivor confessionals of all time, where he's like, it's been 10 years since I played the first time. Like, I just want to see if I still got it, is the quote. And then like the whole season elapses and he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it the entire time. And he ends with a really beautiful confessional, which I think he's recognizing that he doesn't have it, but he still doesn't want to give up. I think that's beautiful storytelling. I do wonder now, it's been 25 years since Colby's played Survivor. Like, does he have it now? Was it a slump? Like, if there's anybody like from the 4th round, like playing for a 4th time, I'm interested the most in his story. I don't necessarily I'm not rooting for it, but I'm interested in what the story looks like. Just from somebody who loves Survivor storytelling. But I cut you off. Tell me your thought about Colby.
Well, this is just a random thing, and then I have thoughts about what you just said. But like, did you ever watch the season of Alone where Colby was the like ingrained production like exit interviewer?
No, is that real? I didn't know that existed.
Real, and it was like a little like extra, like the last 3 minutes of the episode where like the person that tapped out had a conversation with Colby, and it's like I think that was his way of being like, see, I was on Survivor for the right reasons. Like I believe in survival, and like, like in that kind of element. And he was like trying to show his knowledge of survivalism with the real survivalists on Alone. Like that is a real
it's a tough sell to do that. I understand how that could be tough.
That was just my little like fun fact for you. But I do think like, this is what I think. I think players like, I think Colby and Ozzy are potentially in trouble because their whole game rested on their comp wins, basically, And so I think like for players like them, it's going to like, we're going to see how much personal work they've put in their life for 25 years to see if there's like self-awareness there for like who they are now comparatively. Or like what their relationship is to everyone else on the beach now that like Ozzy isn't in the young wunderkind, like kind of, spot. So like, what's that going to look like? And I think if like there hasn't been like a reckoning with the time, they're going to struggle a lot, you know, like that's why I think like people, I mean, sorry to do this, but I think more likely the old school women are going to be more successful than the old school men or something, just because I assume that women.
I'm looking at the group. I agree. I think I agree with that. Well,
Yeah.
you know, Ozzy, the interesting Ozzy point is like Coach is very disconnected. He's very good friends with Ben Katzman, but he doesn't like, he's not in this world, the world that you and I exist in. And Colby is the furthest removed that you can be. Like he is not at all here. Ozzy, like I've met, I'm not sure if you've met, but like Ozzy's put in FaceTime with this group, which I do think bodes well for him. That's why I think the Colby story is so interesting, because he is literally, it's like he's playing for the fourth time with all new people. Like he knows Stephanie and Cirie and Coach, I guess, like briefly, but he is and Jen. But regardless, he's now playing Survivor almost as like it's his second time with just now strangers. So I'm curious to see how that ends up. Now, Cirie and Ozzy know each other from many of appearances on Survivor. Do you have any insight into how the Ozzy relationship looks in 2025 with Cirie?
I mean, I think, look, Cirie's going in wanting as many positive relationships as possible. So, you know, obviously, like anyone would, you know, coming onto the beach, but like, you know, as far as I am aware, they're cool with each other. So, you know,
there's, and we can take this out. There's been some rumors that have been swirling around of a certain old school Survivor. Stephanie LaGrossa has been, you know, maybe plotting a Cirie demise, which we don't need to talk about, you know, Cirie's thoughts on that, what have you, but how do you see that looking on the beach if they get there and Stephanie tries to actualize that? Like, what does it look like for Cirie if they are somehow on the same tribe and Stephanie makes the move first? What does Cirie do in that situation?
I mean, it's like, it's so hard, right? Because you know, I have the feeling, being a smart player like she is, the minute toes even look at the sand, seeds are already being planted as to like, Cirie's open for business. Cirie is here to play. Cirie's not in your way. You know, like she is here to be people's helper. You know what I mean? And I think she's coming in with like, obviously maybe the biggest target out of anyone there, maybe, you know, I would say that's not because family Fields. Like, I just think like objectively, she's probably coming in with people being the most scared of her. So I think she has like a lot of work to do. The thing is, like, when I think Stephanie tends to be consistent about digging her own grave, right? Like Stephanie doesn't know what the word, she's never heard the word patience. You know, she's like never heard the word empathy. You know, like I think these are concepts that like are hard for her. And so like, I think if she is just loud and whiny about wanting Cirie out, like, I think that's going to be a deterrent. The target on Cirie is literally never going to change. And in some ways, like maybe Cirie can ride that out one tribal at a time in the beginning, at least, where it's like, okay, yeah, but like, I'm just sitting here and you hear how loud this bitch is. You know what I mean? Like, so I think I have a feeling whether it is in relationship to Cirie or not, Stephanie is going to be her own downfall.
Well, what's interesting is, you know, she has waited now. She's on season 20. It's season 50. 30 seasons, 15 years to get back on the beach. But even in between the beach, like she was on a beach with Cirie for Snake in the Grass with Rachel Riley.
Great episode.
Fantastic episode. I just watched it in preparation for this.
Of Snake in the Grass.
It's really good. And then obviously he's in the Traders with Rachel and Cirie. I'm very interested in the, like, I think the older folks, older in terms of when they played Survivor, are going to be like shot out of a cannon. Whereas I think Cirie has now done this enough. Not to mention that Cirie just played a season of Australian Survivor, which we don't know how she did, but it's 2 weeks long. I think it's like, it's 14 days or 16 days, you know, so whatever it is, it's fast paced. And I think that Stephanie, you know, she hears that it's 26 days and she's like, I got to go quick. And that might be the thing that bites her. I think in terms of the older folks, I am worried about Jenna Lewis. I think Jenna Lewis may be doing the same thing in terms of gunning too quickly. But I think that Stephanie, in terms of who I would rank as a going out early. I think Jenna Lewis and then Stephanie, I think, would be quickly thereafter.
Ideal.
So maybe. So we just said that I think the older women would maybe outlast the older men in terms of when they played Survivor. I don't think Jenna and Stephanie are in that statistic. Right. I think that is your Cirie's, your Aubrey's, your Chrissy's, your Angelinas. I think you lose those two before you lose.
Yeah, which is fine. I maybe can't even tell them apart on this.
Do you Izzy think Cirie's gonna win?
Oh man, I want her to so bad. I mean, part of me hopes that like. Now, I don't actually attribute this to Big Brother, but let's go back and put this in with the Big Brother learnings. Like Cirie will sit there and I think the new era people, I feel this feeling like in my own world, like a new era person, you know, like on Big Brother and everything. Man, if I get a second chance at Big Brother, I'm playing. Like I am playing, you know, I'm playing to win. And I like feel like that energy is going to be there for so many of these new era people. And like Cirie can wait that out. Like she will, oh, you want to get D out? I could vote that way. Oh, you want to get this person out? I could vote that way. You want to get, you know, like I think she could really be one of the last old school people standing or something, you know, like I think, anyway, that's my hope.
Do you have somebody that you're looking at the spread here that you think, if not Cirie, could win Survivor 50?
Oh, I'm
giving
so
you
bad.
Winner.
I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at this because I just like my wants. You know, I could give you my top squad of people that I want.
Give the top squad. The top squad sounds
obviously good. I want Cirie to win. Sure. I gotta put my second as Emily Flippin. I want her to win so bad. Yeah. That would mean so much to my community. Like
to me, to mine also.
Like the nerdy ADHDers. Like I need that, you know?
Sure.
I also love Camilla was my favorite on her season, and that would make me really happy to see her win. So maybe that's my top three.
It's a good top three. It could be the top three of the show. That could be the final three. We don't know.
Oh man, I've been hoping, you know.
All female final three. We're hoping.
Would be fun for that. What'd you say?
Say that again.
I said have the guts to have that.
Have the gut. They never have the guts.
They never have the guts.
If it's a Joe, Jonathan, Ozzy final three,
I'll literally turn off the TV. I mean, I stopped at 48. You know.
Do we watch 51? Is it over for the franchise? Who knows? Let me get this off the screen. But Izzy, tell us, you have anything going on? This was so much fun, by the way. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
I could talk about this all day. So yeah, that's great.
Tell us what you got coming up. Anything?
Actually, yeah, I will promote a thing. I will say a thing. You all should at Lincoln Center, Summer for the City. I'm playing a show, free show outside at Lincoln Center at 5:30 p.m. You could look up the Lincoln Center Summer Festival.
What day?
It is the 29th of June.
Great. This will be out. I was because we're filming a couple days early. I was unsure.
Right.
29th of June. This will be out for plenty of time. Cancel your plans.
29th of June.
Are you solo playing?
Not solo. It's going to be a big ensemble. It's going to be super fun. We're playing the music of Julius Eastman, who is this like amazing composer that an ensemble I'm in has done a ton of work championing his music. And so this is just going to be like a big outdoor, long form, kind of experimental, loud, groovy outdoor jam.
That's at Lincoln Center.
Yeah, at Lincoln Center.
I'll come to that.
Yeah, come to that. I was going to invite all of you.
Izzy, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow or next time to talk about. I'm going to redo that because I was told not to say tomorrow.
Okay.
We will be back tomorrow.
You did it again.
Fuck. I'm just going to leave this in. We're learning. This is my second time doing this, everybody.
He's new.
We will be back.
Captain will be back. I'm just not going to let you get it out. Okay, go ahead.
We will be back next time to talk about Ozzy Lust with Eric Reichenbach, which will be great. I'm so excited. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.